Hello, Buddyfighters. Bucky McBadbat here with a deck profile. Before I begin, I want to start out by saying this deck was heavily inspired by Donuel Bendedetto's second place Super Armordragon build back in 2015. Uh, I hold this guy with a lot of respect. I look up to him a lot. I really wish he was back in the game, and I hope he makes his way back soon. So big shout out to him. And basically, as the years progressed, as time went on, as new sets came out, I've always tried to figure out a way how to make this deck, live and possible. But it wasn't until the last recent sets that we had support that really geared to size 2 and higher Armordragons. So, with all due respect, I present Super Armordragon 2.0. I used this deck this weekend. Got top 8 with it at the DMV. So I'm really proud with it. I'm planning on, tweaking it more, getting a proper side deck to contend with the current meta. But again, I think this deck is really strong. It's very aggressive. And it does deal with a lot of meta decks that are, that are presented to us today, because a lot of decks deal with, center defense, and they want to just stack on, but this breaks through defense is like no belief. Like, it is very, very fast, very aggro. It can get overwhelming to get through. So with all due respect, let's begin. Super Armordragon 2.0. So 4 of the Buddy. Super Armordragon, General Boldness. He is a size 3, 747. Call cost, pay 3 gauge, and put up to 2 size 3 monsters from your hand into his soul. He has an ability, act, pay 1 gauge. If you do, destroy an item or spell on your opponent's field. He has move, soul guard, and lifelink 2. This guy, very aggressive turn 1 play. Just like years back, usually when this guy hits the field, he's very hard to get rid of. A lot of people struggle to beat it. So this guy is amazing. Honestly wish there was an update to him, like an impact monster maybe. Because as of right now, we only have like one. Actually, we only have one size 3 impact monster. And he's a Crimson Fist. So hopefully, we can get more use out of him, or maybe they can just show us more love. Next, we move on to 4 copies of 5th Omni Super Cavalry Dragon Hellfire Sword Double. Now, if I had to do, this guy can easily be the Buddy if you want him to, because he does everything you want the deck to do. He messes with the opponent a lot. He has soul guard, he has double attack. Again, another thing your opponent really tries to push through because of the way he interrupts their ability to play cards. I mean, when you mess with someone's gauge, at the same time, you're also messing with their hand, because that means the cards in their hand that they want to play, they can't, because they can't afford it. The fact that you can just, every turn, your opponent's turn, you could do something to basically dwindle their resources away. It's the same thing, in my opinion, as getting rid of the hand. The fact that you can't play your cards is the fact that you can't play your cards. So this guy's amazing. You can make him your buddy. I chose General Boldness out of respect. He's one of my favorite Armordragons, him and Infernal Armordragon. But let's move on. Very hard name to pronounce for me, but I'm gonna give it a shot. 100 Demon General Ayu Ratsu. Ryu. You know what? I'm just gonna call him Ryu. I've always called him Ryu because I can't pronounce that name. He is a 717, size 3, no call cost. The best part about this guy is that he has no call cost. If there are a total of 10 or more Armordragons or 100 Dreamers in your drop zone, nullify lifelink. This happens quite often because of the cost of the deck. Counter. You can send a Armordragon or 100 Demon on your field to the drop zone. If you do stand this, it has triple attack, lifelink 3. Now we're going to get to the newer Armordragons. 2 Unsullied Executioner Dragon, Judge, I've been calling it Cthulhu all day, but Shara Thea, 727, pay 2 gauge, X, put a total of up to 2 Armordragons or Guardians from your drop zone onto the bottom of your deck in any order. If you do, destroy a card on your opponent's field. You may only use this ability once per turn, double attack. Now, originally, before this weekend, we didn't have access to this card. So originally in this place was Infernal Armordragon. The reason I chose this over Infernal Armordragon is Infernal Armordragon can destroy up to 2 monsters. However, this has the ability to destroy any card on the field with relatively no call cost. Putting 2 cards from your drop zone on the bottom of the deck is essentially free. So basically free card destruction of any type. So I love it. 1 Inverse Xeon. This guy, he's actually MVP. He's the reason I won a lot of game 3s. Turn 1, just throw him out here and swing. Most people just eat the 4, they don't shield because they know he'll get through it. I usually just play him in the center, swing, and I don't care if he dies. This guy is really clutch mid to late game, especially if your opponents already took a hit or 2. I love this guy. Honestly, I can't think of anything else to replace him with. So, for right now, just 1. You can only play 1. But, now, the best part about the deck is these next couple cards. So, unlike the original Super Armordragon deck, we had a bunch of zeros. We played the set spell so we could get a bunch of gauge. We've evolved. So now we have monsters who, depending on the size of the monster on the field, goes to 0. So these are acting zeros with, if you ask me, much better stats, much better skills. 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon, Merrick SD. This card cannot be called to the center. If you have another originally size 2 or greater Armordragon on the field, size of this card on the field is reduced by 2. At counter at hold on, why is it not focused? There we go. Choose an Armordragon on your field for this turn. It gets 1000 power, defense, and penetrate. You take 1 damage. Alright. So this guy's really great. Almost everyone knows what it does when it comes to the field. It's basically a 2 crit swinging and giving like general boldness. Penetrate is very devious. Really good. Can't play this style of the deck without it. Another card that came out this weekend. 4 copies of the X generation. 5th Omni Cavalry Dragon. Sandstaff. Ventus, I can't pronounce it. 3/1/2. If you have a size 3 Dragon World monster on the field, the size of this card on your field is reduced by 1. When this card enters the field, you may put the top card of your deck into the soul of a monster on your field. If you do, you take 1 damage. So, again, another essentially 0 monster. You take the top card of your deck, you put it into, like, general boldness or... yeah, mainly, I mean, the only person you can really put this in is general bonus and the 5th Omni size 3. But again, it just keeps them alive, so very good with the deck. Because of those size 0s and the need for the size 3s to take damage, we're going to move on to the items. We play 4 copies of the 5th Omni Dragon Sword Emperor Feng. Pay 1 gauge, take 1 damage. If you are dealt damage other than by attack, you gain 1 life. This ability only activates once per turn. So it allows you to take, go down, go up. This helps your size 3. This, basically stops you from going minus while you're getting all the effects that you want. 1 of the Dragon Fist Ablaze. Basically the same thing. You pay a gauge, you take 1 damage. However, this one reduces it completely. Now, the only reason why I want one of these is because of the 2. I run it because of the 2 crit. Like, I thought about playing the sword that does the same effect. However, you have 6,001 crit, but I felt like I wanted to be aggressive, so I thought the 2 crit would help out more than 6,000, and usually it did. Now, the thing to note about this is you do not take any damage from cards, so this will not trigger the Armor Dragon, but again, it allows you to play the other effects and your life still stays intact. Moving on to spells. 4 blues, 4 greens, 3 Drago Wisdoms, charge and draw, take a damage. If you have a 5th Omni on the board, which is almost more than half the deck. 3 Drago Desperates. Basically, you use this to mitigate the linking capability, since most monsters have to link attack to beat your size 3s normally. So this way you can play this, stop them from doing that. Basically, change how they do what they need to do. 3 Dragobond. I use this on SD mostly and boldness because he moves. If they try to pop it, gain some life, basically stuff. I chose this over Drago Defense. And yeah, like, this card is better for the deck. It helps out a lot more. Because the cost gets a little heavy, we play 2 Dragonic Charges. I wish there were better gauges, but for right now, I'm choosing this over, let's say, the one that gives you 3 gauge if you take a damage, because I want to be able to activate this whenever. I want to be able to activate it at the start of my turn without having to, like, waste a card or an ability. So this is fine for now. 1 Dragonic Assault, really good on Ryu with Penetrate. Again, it's 1 gauge to give it 1 crit. Basically, use this if I need that game push. So let's say I give General Boldness Penetrate, you're at 5, I attack, usually it's in the center, so your opponent can't really do anything. Counter, give it a crit, and boom, 5 damage easily. Also helps with the impact if you play this before you play the impact. So, helps out that way. Play 2 copies of the impact. Giga Howling Crusher. You can only activate this if you have your buddy and an item equipped. Pay 3 gauge. Deal a combined damage of your weapon and your buddy monster. It can't be reduced, so that's an easy 7 or 8 damage. Now the gauge, like, when you play the deck, most of the time you want to go into the 5th Omni size 3 to this way build your gauge up and slow your opponent down. It helps you get to this a lot easier. Not to say you can't do it otherwise, but this definitely, that card definitely helps you reach this, because again, the deck is it's kind of gauge heavy, so you have to know what you're doing. You have to control the tempo a lot. Again, I won't go into the side deck. The side deck is really boring. 2 of each Tembu. 2 of each Tembu. Inverse and regular for board wipe, soul removal. 3, what is it called? 3 barbed wires and 3 of the 3 Ablaze. Basically, I played the 3 Ablaze because I was honestly thinking I would run into more of the Burn Star Dragon World. So I wanted to be able to, if I was taking like Spectral Strike or stuff like that, any type of burn, I wanted to be able to say, no, I'm not going to take any damage from any of that. And you just have to fight me as if it was a regular match. Because I pay so much gauge, pay so much life on the other cards, I don't want to lose life from any other effect. And the barbed wire, because if I'm playing a item heavy deck, obviously I just want to rest it. But again, this is the deck that got me in top 8. Thank you for watching. As always, have you met my burner?